Hi everyone, KNWA and Fox 24 Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff giving you this webcast extra. We have a very difficult, tricky, complicated forecast over the next several days. And so it does look rather active, but there is a lot of lack of confidence, though, as these weather systems will move in. I'll kind of give you a little bit of an explanation. We're going to start off, first of all, with what's happening overnight tonight and into tomorrow as a weather system begins to move in. Now, obviously, you can see northwest Arkansas completely void of any type of watches, warnings, or advisories, but to our south, it's a little bit of a different story. Just south of Scott County and LeFlore County, you've got winter weather advisories and, in fact, even winter storm warnings. We'll zoom out a little more and we'll kind of run you through them. We've got a winter weather advisory that goes from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning till 6 o'clock in the evening, and then we've got winter storm warnings that includes McCurtain County, a little bit outside of our viewing area, that starts at midnight tonight and ends at 6 o'clock in the evening on Wednesday. Now, the track of this system is a little bit uncertain, and what I mean by that is where exactly this low pressure system is going to move in. If it tracks a little bit farther north, then those winter weather advisories could be extended into southern LeFlore County as well as Scott County, possibly even a few counties just to the south of I-40. Currently, though, you can see precipitation beginning to develop. It is getting going. It's a large low that's starting to move in, and look at all this lift that's starting to occur literally right over south central and west central Texas, close to the Big Bend. This is this precipitation that's going to be moving in, but notice a little bit that's popped up over the Texas Panhandle. This, however, is not handled well by the computer model. So if one of these little waves of energy swings in a little more than undetected, a little more than detected by the computer models, then you could have a little more precipitation in northwest Arkansas. That's what we're watching, and that's what I mean by the uncertainty of this weather track. So right now, the low pressure system is located just to the west-southwest of El Paso. You can see the swirl and spin. This is the low that's beginning to develop and intensify and eventually moving eastward. Now, the track of this low will make all the difference in the forecast. Currently, it looks like computer models are predicting this low to remain well south of Arkansas, and I believe that. But I also believe there could be a little impulse of energy, such as, if you notice, this little low that pops up in the Texas Panhandle. See that little bit of a swirl just to the west of Amarillo. I'll clear that off of there. You can actually see some enhanced lift. One of these little pieces of energy could make it into northwest Arkansas, completely altering the forecast. And the reason I say there's been a lack of confidence, well, you might remember the snowy system that we had on Monday. Let me show you where that originated from. So I'm going to kind of rock back and forth this water vapor loop. And you might remember my webcast extra early last week talking about a cutoff low for the middle towards the end of this week. Well, here is that cutoff low that has developed. So watch over the California area. This is that low pressure system that cut off and started to swirl, and now eventually, finally, it's starting to kick out. You can kind of see that motion moving out into the Four Corners region. Now, currently that low is definitely taking a south track, and if that is the case, then the precipitation will shift even farther down to the south. But it's these little impulses that go undetected, that aren't observed by the weather models, aren't observed by the upper air soundings, and this is a very tricky weather pattern for those computer models. You notice this little spin that developed just to the west of Baja. This was the low that eventually resulted in all of the snowfall across the river valley and portions of the northwest Arkansas. So here it is Sunday afternoon, not even over Baja. It moves in by Sunday late morning into the afternoon, and there it is. There's the enhanced lift. There's the precipitation from that system as that little wave of energy swings in. Now, as we move throughout time, I'm going to show you what's diving in from the northwest. So this is why we're expecting the snow chances on Thursday. You can kind of see the swirl and spin with this low that is beginning to dive into Montana. Once again, not really observed very well by the upper air soundings. And there's a lot of these little spins that can result in enhanced precipitation more than what the computer models show. So that's what I mean by a very progressive, a very uncertain weather forecast right now, and also a lot of uncertainty, so to speak, because of this northwesterly flow, fast-moving systems diving in that jet stream flow. But just to reiterate here, the precipitation does look likely, especially in central Arkansas, and a lot of it will come down as heavy snow. Now, the future track, taking these precipitation area is a little bit farther south. Of course, this could shift farther north if that track moves a little farther north, or if one of those undetected little small pieces of energy swing in and produce precipitation. But I have no doubt that southern Arkansas will get a pretty decent snowfall. 1 to 3 inches definitely not out of the question. It looks to be just barely south of the Little Rock area, but that could change if that track goes a little bit farther north. And then on Thursday, right now it doesn't show any precipitation, but it will be cold. There could be one of those little weak waves of energy swinging in, and that could change the forecast dramatically. So as we look at the future track here, this is the snowfall, barely clipping southern Leflore County. This has changed, by the way, in the last 3 hours. So the computer models are kind of changing back and forth. You can see the snowfall very light in southwest Missouri. But all it takes is one of those little pieces of energy to swing in undetected, and that ends up producing more precipitation than expected. Case in point, just like what we saw on Monday morning into the afternoon, and then especially early evening right over the Fayetteville area in southern Washington County. So we'll be monitoring those little spins, those little swirls, what I call little waves of energy, little pieces of energy. Technical term is what we call vorticity maximums, and those that create a little extra spin in the atmosphere, that creates a little extra lift, and then you have more precipitation than expected. And all of those systems moving quickly in that northwest flow will lead to the potential for precipitation. And then Arctic air is on the way as well. So if we get that Arctic air, which is looking likely, and we also have one of these systems moving in undetected, well, there you go. There's your winter weather that is unexpected. And that's why we still have those chances in there. So keep it here with the latest weather forecast. And as always, your weather authority is on top of it.